Hello, hello, hello. Do you find it hard to let go of people, things, whatever it is? Do you find that you are so quickly to attach? You're attached to people, outcomes, a certain way of doing things? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. My name is Yi Qing, and I am a weirdly funny nerd who helps you transcend your childhood trauma and become the most vibrant version of you. Now, coming back to this whole attachment thing, we have to look back into our childhood and understand that there are two essential needs. You have a need for attachment and you have a need for authenticity. Although that comes later, that will show up later. But as a little baby, an early infant, right? Young infant, your need for attachment trumps everything. Because if you are not attached to mom and dad, most likely mom, right? It's impossible for you to survive. Your need for attachment is driven by survival. So of course, now that's why so many parents are worried about giving their children attachment issues, debating whether you should attend to the kid when they cry or you should let them cry out. Although that's not a good approach. Don't let them cry out. Anyway, that's the whole point of this, is that you have this need for attachment. It helps, we all know how important it is to have secure attachment, right? So, and to have secure attachment, it means that you're okay with it and you're okay without it. You're okay with your caregiver being present and you're okay without your caregiver being present. Because that's how your nervous system has been conditioned. So if, let's say, our caregivers were not very present, emotionally neglectful, right? Then we did not, or not consistent, that's a big thing, not consistent. Then we did not have that need fulfilled. And how did we get attachment? If you were criticized by your mom and dad when you were 2 years old, and then you think mom and dad are not going to love us anymore, what do? You sacrifice your authenticity. You start to win their love. And I say this because it is such a common problem among high achievers, overachievers, especially if you have a very critical parental figure. Can't talk today. Especially if your dad is very critical, right? And you're like, well, I'm not getting enough attention from him. So I will sacrifice my need for authenticity in order to win his love. And that's why we say girls who have daddy issues, later in life, they have problem with forming intimate relationships. It's because of the same thing. Like, you don't want to win people's love. Right? Like, that's the thing. So when we become attached to people and results, we sacrifice parts of ourselves. It's okay when you're a child. Again, that is because you have this need for survival. But the problem is that if you did not realize that and you're still having that conditioning, which is many of us, right? Then you need a few workarounds. What do I mean by that? Is that when you start to realize that you are too attached to people and things and outcome, and then you become overly eager, you change yourself to change part of yourself, part of your values, right? To appease, to get, to win over, to secure something, whatever that is, at the cost of your authenticity, that is a problem. And that is why you feel unfulfilled, because now you do need your authenticity so much more when you were a child, because guess what? You are an independent individual, right? You don't need mom or dad's love. You don't need someone to love you to survive. No, you're just fine by yourself. But now if you're still conditioned or functioning through that as your little inner child, then of course you're going to keep continuing to sacrifice your authenticity for that one specific outcome. and how this shows up in a lot of our choices, priority choices, value choices, your choices of people around you, your choice of partners, your choice of careers. That's why people are unhappy when they sacrifice their need for authenticity to fulfill that certain need for survival. But that is an illusion. You do not need that. You can find a balance between your authenticity and the need for attachment or survival. Let's just call it that way, right? So that's why people end up in jobs they hate, in careers they hate, end up in deeply unfulfilling relationships, is because they sacrifice their need for authenticity. And how do you reclaim that part? Like, how do you find it back? You have to understand that authenticity is already a part of you. You do have it. Sometimes it's hard to understand that you do have it because you've been living without it for so long that you feel lost and you honestly don't know what that is. And the thing of recovery, your first step towards recovery is you have to take little baby steps, meaning that you start doing the one thing that brings you joy. That is a very critical hallmark. Ooh, I really can't speak today. That is a very critical hallmark. What brings you joy? And if you go to my last video about oh gosh, what was my last video? I had this point about the perfectionism. Yeah, perfectionism and procrastination, I think. I have this point about measuring the level of fear and joy. And this is the same thing. That indicates your authenticity. And that's why we avoid authenticity. We run away from it. We run away from the things that we know that we need to do the most. We run away from the most courageous acts, right? Whatever that is. We run away from those things. So like, that's why. It's because we still are functioning as those wounded little kids who cannot live without parents' approval. You don't need your parents' approval anymore. Dear viewers, you only need your own approval. And to have your own approval, you have to reclaim your authenticity, because you know what will make you respect you? Authenticity, speaking up, acting upon your values, sticking to your standards. That is what's going to make you love you and respect you. And that is how you become the most vibrant version of you, because you are not going to sacrifice your authenticity for any specific person or any type of outcome or anything that you want. That is how you empower yourself. But then of course, from that place, we gotta give value, right? That's the whole thing of living a fulfilling life. You give value to attract things back into your life or into your life. But you have to give value on that level, meaning that I give without any attachment of whatever return that I can have from this, because this is my authentic place and I give from this place. And once you start doing that, it will drastically increase your self-worth. Trust me, which is different from self-esteem. I will do another video about that. But that will drastically increase your self-worth, because you know you won't sacrifice your need for authenticity for any specific person or outcome. And that will just make you truly magnetic and confident. And I know this video is not funny at all, and I'm not promising you to be funny in every video, but I just wanted to tell you all these because I feel so deeply about this topic. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Do check out my last video. I'm putting the link here, and stay tuned. I have so many videos coming up and some interviews with comedians that I like. We'll talk about childhood trauma, we'll talk about healing, we'll talk about self-discovery. Okay? Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week, and have a great, great, great week. All right, bye.